Hi, shifters. Glad to have you all with us tonight. I'm here with my best friend, Kevin. How are you, Kevin?
Steve, I couldn't be better.
Great. We're going to have just a brief video this evening recapping our last meetup, which was part two of Feminine Rising, which was once again a very animated and interesting talk and discussion between all of us. More again about the subject of feminine rising. Um, it included some contributions from members of the group that we don't normally hear explicitly from. And it was great to have those additional contributions. This kind of made a change up of the pace for the way we do things, which was great to have. So why don't you tell us, Kevin, a little more about how that went?
Well, great. It was really, really enjoyable, Steve. And like you said, a very different approach to the meetups that we've had in the past. It started off with a meditation by one of the members, and she actually brought a singing bowl with her, which I'd never experienced before. And it was quite amazing. The resonance that I was feeling with the tone that it made, especially in my heart. I noticed my heart just almost exploding with when she activated the singing bowl. But the purpose of that was essentially to clear the mind, because the next step was for another member to actually issue oracle cards to each person. Or actually we didn't, they weren't issued, Steve, were they? We picked them, and our higher selves were in charge of picking the one that was appropriate for us. And she then read a description of what each of those cards meant. And it was a very interesting thing to hear about each of these powerful women, because these were feminine rising oracle cards, so they were all about women, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and these women in the cards weren't they like deities? And I don't actually living women, were they, or were they?
No, I don't believe they were living women, Steve. But they also weren't necessarily just deities. They were saints and people that had actually lived, and it was very cool. I think everyone enjoyed hearing the meaning of the cards that their higher selves had chosen, and so we were supposed to sort of keep that in the back of our minds, the essence of the woman and what she represented in the back of our minds as we entered into a discussion. And Elizabeth, a member there, started talking about yin and yang and the divine feminine versus the divine masculine. And we're not used to hearing the words divine masculine, are we, Steve?
Yeah, that was it was fun to hear that there even is a divine masculine, which of course we all know that, but it's had to take a back seat, and to have it be called out in a positive way,
I,
negative way, was nice to hear.
It is. And I just thought of this too. It's sort of the analogy that we use with the ego as well. The ego itself isn't bad. It's just when it spins out of control and becomes unaligned with spirit, is it a bad thing? It's the same thing with the divine masculine, which it is spun out of control over the last number of centuries, and now we're trying to reel it back in and get balance. Isn't that the case?
That's true, and it was good to kind of bring that out. And I think what all of us agreed upon with it, basically, the yin and the yang, and the masculine and the feminine are basically just two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. It's not like they're two separate pieces. They're two aspects of the same whole, and that came out in the discussion.
It did. It did. And then we closed with another meditation, and it was a magical time. I loved giving up the stage for all these other experiences, and I hope that we have an opportunity to do that again and have those types of contributions from others.
Yeah, which I fully expect we will. It's nice to kind of just provide variety in that way. So I'm sure we will do it again in the future.
Yeah, yeah. And as I mentioned early on in the meetup, Steve, that you and I are simply providing the stage. We are not necessarily the lead actors in this whole thing. We're not the gurus. We're not the know-it-alls. We're not the lecturers. That this is a communal experience, and it was great to see that play out in this last meetup.
That's true. Yes, and it's wonderful to be able to play that role to help to provide a platform on which a number of people can share what they have to share, their gifts and their experiences.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
look forward to having more people participate in this meetup and share their experiences and their gifts to the group.
Yeah. So it sounds like that pretty well covers just how it went. Once again, it was wonderful, and we look forward to our next meetup, which it sounds like we've pretty well settled on a topic, which will be the topic of food and its impact on us as beings, physical beings. So there's a lot more to come and to discuss regarding that.
Yeah, a very meaty subject, so to speak, or maybe not.
Maybe not. Depends on how you look at it.
Right.
All right. Well, so thanks for joining us all. Good to connect with you as always. And we look forward to connecting again. We'll probably put out another video prior to the next meetup, giving a little more detail about what will be discussed and kind of priming the conversation.
Sounds great, Steve. It was great talking with you, buddy.
Yep. You too, Kevin. You all take care. We love you all.
Love you guys.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.